Camarade Président Vladimir
Comrade President Vladimir Putin,
Camarade Président Chef d'État africain,
African heads of state,
Camarade Chef de Délégation,
Comrade Head of Delegation,
Bonjour.
good morning. It is an honor for me this morning to take the floor here and to pass on to you the fraternal greetings of the people of the land of men of integrity. It is from the Almighty that we have been able to gather here this morning in good health to talk about the future and the well-being of our people. I am going to apologize to the elders whom I may offend in my future remarks. Because of Africanity, because of the rights of one of them, I have to apologize. Comrade, I have a few questions from my generation. Not a single question that is being asked. We don't have an answer, and it turns out that here we can wash our linseed because we feel like a family. It feels like a family in the sense that Russia is also a family for Africa. It is a family because we have the same history. Russia made enormous sacrifices to liberate the world from Nazism during the Second World War. The people of Africa, our grandfathers, were also forcibly deported to help Europe get rid of Nazism. We share the same history in the sense that we are the forgotten peoples of the world, whether in the history books, in documentaries, or in film, insofar as we sweep away the preponderant role played by Russia and Africa in this fight against Nazism. We are here together because we are here to talk about the future of our peoples and what is to come. Of the future of tomorrow, of the free world to which we aspire, of a world without interference in our internal affairs. We have the same prospects, and I hope that this summit will be an opportunity to forge very good relations and to create a better future for our peoples. The questions that my generations are asking themselves about the next generation, if I can sum it up, is that they do not understand how Africa, with so much wealth on our soil, with its generous nature, water and abundant sunshine, Africa is today the poorest continent. Africa is a starving continent, and how is it that our heads of state are traveling through the world of Amand? These are questions that we are asking ourselves and that we have not yet had answers. We have the opportunity to forge new relationships, and I hope that these relations can be the best, to give a better future to our peoples. My generation also instructs me to say that because of poverty, they are forced to cross the ocean in order to try to reach Europe. They die in the ocean. But that soon they will not have crossed it, because they will come in front of our palaces to look for their daily sustenance. As far as Burkina Faso is concerned, for more than 8 years, we have been confronted with the most barbaric and violent form of neocolonialism and imperialism. Slavery still has so much to impose on us. Our front-runners have taught us one thing: slavery that is not capable of accepting its own revolt does not deserve to be relied upon by its fate. We don't worry about our fate. We are not asking for someone to rely on our fate. The people of Burkina Faso have decided to fight against hypothyrism capable of reviving its development. In this struggle, valiant peoples, wines, and a population have pledged to take up arms in the face of terrorists. The ones we actually call the VDPs, volunteers. We are surprised to see the imperialists calling these VDPs militias and of all kinds. It is one of those wines, because in Europe, when people take up arms to defend their patriots, they are called patriots. Our grandfathers were deported to save Europe. It was not with their consent, against their grey. Well, on the way back, we remember that in Traoré, when they tried to bandage their elemental sheet, they were massacred, so it doesn't matter. When we people decide to defend ourselves, we are called militias, but that's not the problem. What is the problem is to see African heads of state who bring nothing to these peoples who are fighting, but who sing the same thing as the imperialists. To our militia dealers, to our traders, therefore, to men who do not respect human rights, hence the human right. We are effusive against this and these shameful people. We, the African heads of state, must stop behaving like puppets who dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. Yesterday, President Vladimir Putin announced that the grain would be sent to Africa. And we are very happy, and we thank each other for that. But it is also a message to our African heads of state, because at the next forum, we must not come here without having ensured that our peoples will be able to achieve food self-sufficiency for those who do not know war. We need to learn from those who have already been able to achieve this in Africa, build good relations here and build better relations with the Russian Federation so that we can meet the needs of our people. I may not be slow. Time is running out and very short. We are obliged to stop and love my take. But I would like to end by saying that we must therefore pay tribute to our peoples who are fighting. Glory to our peoples, dignity to our peoples, victory to our peoples, homeland or death will come. Thank you, comrades.
They surely told you that it is an unvisitable country. They told you that it's death here. It's war, there is only negative things, and Burkina is called black. That here, only blood and weapons flow, that's what is said elsewhere. Thank God you arrived safely. You were able to be in Bobo Dioulasso. You've lived with us. Our culture is what binds us Africans. You were able to commune with many other nationalities who came to celebrate with us. Everything went very well. Now you are in Ouagadougou, and I hope that you are very well received, very well housed, and that you managed to commune with your brothers here. This is an important message that you are sending to everyone, and now you will be the ambassadors of this message when you are at home. That Burkina is very friendly. We live in Burkina Faso. What they want to make people believe is not Burkina. This is what they draw to get people to flee Burkina, and they depict all of Africa like that. For them, Africa is misery. Africa is famine. Africa is war, but it's them who are responsible for this war. We need to unite, but they have always been there to divide us, to be able to reign on us through slavery. Our ancestors experienced it, and until today, we have it fed up in our flesh, but it continues. Our great people were deported, tortured, and again when they had their war, we supported them, but they paid us in monkey money. Others were killed when they tried to stake their claim. Several of them died in their village as a result of the war. Never recognized the work of the African. Our mission is first of all to awaken Africa and do better, so that you from the diaspora can make people understand what Africa is. When I see you, united in this association, I feel even more proud because that's all we are asking for today. Our fight is to be able to unite, because united we are strong, divide we are weak. They have always worked to divide us, so I urge you to spread the message so that Africa can unite it. We have been lucky or unlucky enough to live through war for several years, and at some point, we had to say enough is enough, that we are fed up. We have taken our responsibilities, and we realize today more than ever that we were right to take our responsibilities. Because these armies that were installed here were never able at any time to monitor our territory, to see the terrorists who came to kill us and leave with all the means they had when we asked them to leave.
Hello everyone. Now, I want us to watch this video of one and only Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré is bringing the absolute change that we want in Africa. He wants to bring Black Americans, Caribbeans back to Africa, and he welcomes them to his country, Burkina Faso. He says all those coming, it will be visa free. So I want us to watch this speech, great speech by him, then have a quick reaction at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Comrade fighters for freedom, for sovereignty, and real independence, hello. Let us give thanks to God who allowed this day, day 11, to take place, and that we could meet in this bowl of the Palais des Sports to discuss the future of our homeland. Following your decision on May 25 to entrust us with the destiny of our homeland for 5 more years, be grateful for it. We do not see this as a mandate, but we understood it as a message that was given to us. And the message was very well received. And we will do everything to always earn your trust. Allow me also to pay a vibrant tribute to all these defense forces, these internal security forces, our valiant volunteers for the defense of the homeland, and all these populations who live in these areas with a strong security challenge, who are standing up. We pay tribute to them, and we say thank you for all the sacrifices made for our homeland. I ask you that we can therefore observe a minute of silence to honor the memory of all those who lost their lives in this fight. Thank you. May the souls of the deceased rest in peace, and may the injured recover. Comrades, the emotion is great, of course, but allow me to articulate my remarks in 3 phases. The first phase will concern the stage from which I will explain to you how we see this world. The second phase, we will devote ourselves to explaining to you why we must continue to fight. And then the most important step would be to briefly outline the vision for the future, if I can put it that way. During these 20-some months spent at the head of state, we have had to meet several politicians from all sides. We met hundreds of diplomats from all sides. We met businessmen from all over the world. We have been open to all these exchanges, to all these discussions, to be able to learn from the world, to be able to understand the world. And today, I think that the opportunity is very good for me to be able to explain to you what conclusions we have drawn from all these meetings that we have had with politicians from all continents, diplomats from all the continents. It's very important. The conclusion we have drawn is very important, and it should allow you to understand the world. Because often in our countries, we do not have this perspective of being able to have access to certain people who will teach you a lot of things through their behavior, through their words, and also by telling you how they see us. Comrades, God created the world with all that there is in terms of happiness, misfortune, good, evil, humans, genies, animals, and everything that goes with it. But we humans have decided to make the world something else. Among the imperialists, they have a vision of the world that I will explain to you. The world is a triangle for them. You will see the triangle in most of their badges. Maybe you don't understand, but the world can be summed up in a triangle. For them, at the top of the triangle is the empire of good. And the empire of good is them. It is prosperity. It is everything that is positive. It is they who have the right to all that is happiness in this world. It is they who have the right to all wealth. It is to them to impose their way of seeing the world. It is up to them to impose their vision, their way of life. 2, this is why during colonization or their conquest, I would say they came to our lands and they said that they discovered our lands because for them, we are savages. We have nothing like them, actually. So they called us natives, and they are the people. They arrogate all the rights to themselves. And for them, the world must work the way they want it to. It's simple, I'll take a few examples. Look through their film. They have prepared the minds of their people to make them understand that they are the best.
We can all see the fear in those Western countries. They have exploited us for the longest time. They have made us poor people. They have made us their beggars. Now, go to the Caribbean. What do they want with the Caribbean countries? What do they want? If it's the mineral resources, they have exploited Africa. Enough is enough. So this is whatever Ibrahim Traore is saying. We have to stand by ourselves. We have to speak the truth to power. So let's continue watching whatever this man is saying.
Aspect. Who among us has not treated Chinese products as Shintox products, as we like to call them, bad products? But today I can tell you that we are all wrong because China has a fairly advanced level of technology. And it is in China that most of these countries come to obtain their supplies, put their mark on it, and resell it to us as their property. Look around you. Our entrepreneurs who are in the construction industry will not say the opposite. All their machines today are Chinese. Those who carry out transport will not say otherwise. They lied to us because we traveled around the world a bit in these 20 months to look for companies, to look for factories. And we understood that everything was coming back there. But through their communication, they led us to hate all Chinese products, to want us to understand that what is good came from them. Not necessarily anyway. It's simple. Go back in time. To better understand what I would say, we need to go back in time a little. And I hope that some people will read about the Tsars, the Mongol conquests, the Persian, Turkish, and Ottoman empires. Read their story, you will understand why the world is like this. At the base of the triangle, there are two empires. On one side, the evil empire, according to them, and the slave empire on the other side. This is how they see the world. Who do they call the evil empire? Which I just cited the origin of right away. And I told you to go back in time, go read it. You will understand why they are the evil empire in their eyes. They are fighting the evil empire. For them, the evil empire must disappear. For them, the evil empire embodies the devil. They communicate and they make it clear to their people that way. This is why, after the Second World War in the 1980s, I would take the case of Russia, where all the stratagems were implemented to collapse it with President Gorbachev. In the United States, it was President Ronald Reagan who was in charge. Three main stratagems caught our attention. So, they went to Saudi Arabia to ask them to lower the price of oil from 35 to 7 to collapse the Russian economy. Along with this, the second ploy. Don't forget something. These same people who have just left Afghanistan, supposedly saying they were fighting the Taliban. The Taliban were received by President Ronald Reagan at the White House. They were armed by the CIA. The famous Stinger ground-air missiles were delivered to the Taliban to fight the Russians. And later, they come to supposed to fight them. Go figure it out. The third ploy was a bluff. The idea is Project Star Wars. Read. You will understand why they got President Gorbachev to create the Polos Project, which broke Russia. Once Russia collapsed, those who claimed to be from the empire began to gloat, until this team came along with Vladimir Putin to try to bring Russia back to the surface. The evil empire. The evil empire, according to them, suffered greatly. Look at Iran today. All the possible sanctions.
It is time we start acknowledging our own great leaders. It's time we start acknowledging that God has blessed us. It is very rare to get a leader like Ibrahim Traoré, a person who wants to speak the truth, nothing but the truth. Now, that's why we get so many people fighting him. That's why we get so many people upset about him, because he's talking the truth and no one wants to hear the truth. Sometime we're gonna really see this. We've been brainwashed and we now think he's a cool leader. He's a person who took power from the military, but he is doing the best for his country. Let's rise. Let's see all these things. He's not a puppet.
And for this, they put a cliche in mind. The African is easy to manipulate. He is only emotion. They will always find an African to fight against his brother. And it's always been like that. Through communication, they made you hate your own skin color. In our cultures, and in many cultures in Burkina Faso, mourning was symbolized by the color blue. When a woman loses her husband, she therefore wore blue-colored outfits to mourn for a given time. They are the ones who came to tell you that black symbolizes mourning, the devil, mediocrity, everything that is bad. And unfortunately, we have swallowed this so much that when we grieve, we also put ourselves in black. We need to wake up.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. Welcome to another episode of Eli from Africa. Now, we have been seeing things unfolding in Africa, and I really appreciate the fact that Russia, China, and North Korea are standing with Africa, and they are standing with the great people of Burkina Faso and their leader Ibrahim Traoré. I'm not a very good fan of whatever is happening in North Korea, because I do believe that the people have the freedom to do whatever they want, and that freedom is entitled in their constitution and the democracy that speaks around. But I'm also appreciating the fact that great countries like China and Russia are actually standing with Africa, and they're trying to make it that Africa should be left independent, and they should let African people, the black people, to control their own fate and to control their own continent. Now, I'm very grateful that Ibrahim Traoré is being given a chance by Russia to say to the world whatever is happening to Africa. He's being given a platform to expose the evils that have been committed by these Western countries. The US must be reminded that it has caused most chaos in Africa than whatever it believes to be democracy in Africa. They have always talked to us about democracy, preaching about the rule of law and all these other things. Do they themselves have the democracy they talk about? It is this tool called democracy that they have used to exploit Africans. It is this tool called democracy that they have used to manipulate the masses of Africa and to mislead them into believing that they are leaders who are Pan-Africanists, those who are bringing about the revolution in Africa, dictators, and that they should be wiped out. We are very grateful that they are trying to do this when the internet is so active and Africans are watching. Recently, Michael Langley, the head of AFRICOM, wanted to come for Ibrahim Traoré. They were using the same old tactics they used with Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, and all these other people. Now, they used the same tactics with Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba of Congo. I dare you to go and see the chaos they caused in these countries. and how much the people are suffering in these countries. Now, you must go see how things are doing so bad in these countries, in that the people are now crying out. We must stop this hypocritism that we are seeing around. These hypocrites have made Africa a jungle. These hypocrites have looted and exploited Africa. People in Africa suffer the consequences of bad leadership, that they praise democracy, then they implant their puppets in Africa. I'm so grateful that people like Julius Malema are exposing them out. People like Ibrahim Traoré have made it their work to go around and say how bad these Western policies are affecting Africa. You once remember when Obama, the president, the retired President Obama, came to Africa in his presidential visit to Africa, and he started with his own country, Kenya. Then he proceeded to Ethiopia and many other countries in Africa. So, and when he reached Ghana, he made a speech and said that Africa lacks great leaders, that Africa, we have a lot of weak leaders, those who cannot come up with policies to help Africans. And the major topic and the major concerns about Africa by then. No, the major question to Barack Obama by then was, when we had Muammar Gaddafi, the great son of Africa, what did they do to him? They assassinated him in cold blood, and they made him look so bad to the world. They actually tarnished his name in the mud, and they made sure that he died a man with no reputation, a man who was so good to his people, a man who had provided free electricity, a man who had provided free and clean water to the people, a man who actually made education free, built roads, hospital, medical care was free. Now, they made that man to look so bad. They talked about democracy. They talked about how he raped children. I'm so sorry to say this, but all these were made to tarnish his name. They had started the same thing with Ibrahim Traoré. Remember, I said they used the same old tricks, but we are in the 21st century. The people have opened up their minds. There is internet, and people can see the good things that Ibrahim Traoré has been doing and whatever he has stood for. Everyone knows that the US wants the gold in Burkina Faso. They want the mineral resources in Burkina Faso. The same way France and the US have destabilized the security and the peace in DRC just to loot whatever the people of Congo have. Now, you must go see the life of Congolese people. You must go see the children and the mothers, how they are struggling to make it. You must see how people are running for peace, because war left, right, and center. Tell me how someone who cannot afford a $1 meal a day but affords to own an AK-47. So we must actually try to question out these policies that they want us to implement in Africa. What is them? What do they want with Africa? Why will they be interested so much in African affairs? They have their own countries, and Donald Trump has 52 or 53 states to run. Donald Trump has a lot because the US is still going through a lot. Tariffs here and there. We've seen inflations and all this stuff. He has a lot to concentrate on the security of his people. Why are they so much concentrated? Why are they so much concerned with whatever Ibrahim Traoré is doing in his own country? They do not want someone with brains, someone who can say no to their rogue policies. Now, I do have a problem with the US and these Western countries. When countries like Uganda have a president who has been in power for 40 years, someone who is 80-something years, but never wants to seize power, but they are so much okay with him, and he's not a dictator just because they can get hold of the resources in Uganda. When you go to Equatorial Guinea and so many other countries, when you go to Nigeria, they have old puppet leaders, people who are 89 years, some are 90 years, some people who cannot even stand on their own and speak for 5 minutes. Now, the US is so much okay with the president of Equatorial Guinea, a man who has been in power for almost 43 years now. But they have a problem with Ibrahim Traoré, who is a very young and transformative leader, because they know he is exposing them to the people of Africa and telling them that, you know what, these are the actual enemies of this continent. We are not going to accept that. Enough is enough, and the African continent is now uniting behind these Pan-Africanists, those who have come out to say that enough is enough and we want to get our continent back, just the way our grandfathers really wanted. Our ancestors fought for this, and we ain't going to allow these people to still colonize us and to still bring their rogue policies in Africa. We are tired of them. How many times are we going to tell them that they should leave us alone? We do not interfere or meddle with the affairs of the white continent. They want us to have their military bases here in Africa. Do we have military bases in their countries? Now, the French government has been a very close army of the US, Britain, and all these other Western countries. Do they have army bases in all these other countries? Why are they so much interested in having army bases in all African countries? This is to spy on the security details of our countries and to actually make us still live as slaves. Enough is enough. We are not going to buy this, and let's put an end to this. We actually have the powers to do that, and the powers really lie within our hands. If we want to continue with the same brainwashing system, the system that has brainwashed us to think that the Western countries have brought so much into our countries, it is up to us. And it is also up to us to wake up and say no and support our revolutionary, our Pan-Africanist leaders and those who stand for whatever is good for this continent. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video. I really appreciate, brothers and sisters. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking. You can also become a special member on this channel by paying the membership fee. It is as little as $1.49. So we can also support these videos and this channel so that we can continue saying the same thing and we can continue enlightening Black people to unite under the same umbrella of good Pan-Africanist leaders. Thank you so much. May you have a good time.